Hello, my name is Colleen and I did my paper on the Florida House Bill 1, which was a bill that was passed in March of this year and signed into law in July of 2023 that removes the income eligibility requirements for the school choice voucher program. My paper wasn't based on what type of education was better, but more on how and where the funds provided by the state through the voucher program are being allocated and the probable risk to the already struggling public school system and communities that they service. Most of the information that I used was from the House bill itself, as well as reviewing both state and county budgets and reviews of various counties and organization feedback and reviews. So for those of you that don't know, school voucher programs are all the rage in certain areas. And in July, Florida passed a bill that said that you don't have to be at a certain income level in order to receive a voucher. So regardless of need, whoever is attending or wants to attend a private school or be homeschooled is eligible to apply for these vouchers. The expanded program, which is budgeted to cost around $3 billion in the first year with a 3% increase year after year, with the goal to be universal with no cap, seems to exist to give parents a choice by using public school funds for private school tuition, which sounds fine on the surface. However, these vouchers are not accepted by the very best private schools, and they only cover a portion of the cost of most private school tuition. So many families, even if they get the voucher, will still be unable to afford to send their students to the schools. Some other issues at play that impact who can use the vouchers, or more specifically, who accepts them. There are schools that are private schools are able to turn students away if they don't think that they're a good fit for their school. So this could be based on race, religion, sexuality, any given number of topics, maybe previous family history at the school. They can just turn the student away without repercussions. And I think that this will undoubtedly add to social issues in the communities, especially if there seems to be a consensus forming based on others that may apply and not get into those schools. A few other hurdles that I see in the plan are related to accessibility. So many of these private schools don't provide adequate transportation, where public schools do. For kids 6 to 18, if you're on a bus route, you get a free bus. There's also not many private schools in rural areas, and Florida has a lot of rural areas. So that reduces the impact that will have outside of suburban and urban areas. So again, these factors indicate to me that the end result of this is that the vast majority of students who will utilize these vouchers are already going to public schools or being homeschooled. So at the same time that this bill was passed and included in the budget, again, $3 billion, the Florida Public School had asked for an increase, $2.5 billion a year for each of the next 10 years. And they were given half of that. So again, it seems to be funneling money, taxpayer funds, away from public education and using it to subsidize the cost of tuition for parents who are already sending their students there to begin with. You also have the fact that many of the private schools are religious institutions and they're already receiving tax breaks or exemptions, and this will provide them additional funds that they don't have to be accountable for. So public schools have to create and plan a budget. They are subject to audits and accountability. They have a set curriculum by the state that is reviewed and mandated by the state of what they're supposed to be teaching, and they require educator certification and school accreditation. Private schools have none of that. So there's no oversight with how any of those funds would be spent. Additionally, on the homeschool side of things, there's no accountability there either. Families don't have to report how they're using the funds. So if a family with 2 students that are being homeschooled get these vouchers, that's roughly $16,000. They don't have to say how it's spent. It could be spent on books and learning materials and computers, or it could be spent on Disney and other vacations. It just does not seem a very transparent and clear way to be spending taxpayer money. So I think, in short, my paper is really just about how, as a fiduciary responsibility that the state has to provide all taxpayers with a breakdown of what and where the funds are going, this leaves us with a very open-ended issue. We're not going to know where all of those funds are being spent, how it's being spent, but more and more of it is being taken away from public schools. And with Florida having, I think it was 87 to 90% of students in public schools, this is going to continue to benefit those that already are attending private schools and take away from those that are not. So, yeah, that's it.